Today we're going to have a look at another pen by Visconti. I'd have to give a shout out to my dear friend Filippo, also known as Mr. Visconti in the Netherlands, because who better to dedicate this video to than Mr. Visconti. Okay, we're going to have a look at the Homo Sapiens Chiantishire. Alright, I'll come back to the name in a second. First of all, the pen was lent to me by Joost Appelboom from Appelboom Pennen. I appreciate it because I know that a lot of people like the Homo Sapiens series, so it's great that I can review it for you here. Now let's have a look at the box. It's a limited edition Visconti, but this is quite the box. It's huge. Sorry, Visconti. Huge, and it's heavy. It's not a light box. This is really it's heavy lifting. So I'm going to open that up. Cardboard. And a little protective stuff. And then you have the box. It's massive, people. It's massive. But look at how reflective it is. Ooh, it's so nice, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Open up the box. Be a little careful, because it can fall shut and be like sort of like a finger guillotine. What do you get? You get a bottle of red ink. Alas, it's the plastic bottle, not the fancy glass one. You can't have everything. You get, of course, the little Visconti warranty card. It's like a credit card type thing they do. And then you have the actual... Oop, I nearly cut my eye out. So finger gone, eye gone. Reviewing fountain pens is dangerous, guys. There's a little warranty card in several languages. And then, of course, you have the little bed for the pen. You can lift that out, and then you can put the paperwork at the bottom of the box, as I'm doing now, so that I shall not lose it. Okay, Chiantishire. What is this, Chiantishire? Well, the Chianti region is an area outside of Florence, and a lot of British people have holiday homes there. It's like the upper class sort of, you know, they're going to holiday home again, Chianti, you know. And so they call that, they kind of jokingly refer to that area as Chianti. You know, Chianti as in the wine, that kind of stuff. First I thought it was something about drunk hobbits, like, oh Sam, and then, you know, Shire and all that stuff. It's not, okay? Enough of this nonsense, let's look at the pen. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen and tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then we'll do writing sample. Top of the pen is that My Pen system, so you have the Visconti logo. You can pop that off and put on a little gemstone, or it's magnetic, or your initials, or that kind of stuff. They have a whole bunch. Look it up. My Pen system. You have the clip, classic Visconti clip with the Visconti logo on the clip. Now, as far as I can tell, this is, I mean, to be honest, in this one it was a little hard to see. It used to be enamel, and then they started to laser engrave. I have the feeling, looking at this, that this is enamel, but it's a bit hard to see. So forgive me if I'm wrong. Okay. I have the two rings there, classic for the Homo Sapiens model. I have the center band. The center band says Homo Sapiens, and at the back it says 284 out of 888. That's the limited edition number. We have the material, it's the clear stuff with colored swirls, and they have done the crystal, which was clear with blue. There was the Florentine Hills, which was clear with green. Then you had the London Fog, which was clear and grey, and now you have clear and sort of red, red, orange. And in a way I like it, because this happens to be a little bit more orange than red. You can see it's sort of pearlescent. It's very nice, that shiny bit. This on this side it's a bit more red, and of course the whole thing is the cap and the turning knob here are very red, kind of like the wine, right? What I like about the specific Homo Sapiens model is the bayonet closure. So it's sort of like a half turn, and the cap always lines up in the same way with the pen, which is nice. That system mainly makes sense on pens to me that, say, in the Opera series, where you have square facets. Does that make sense? Yes, they're square, so the cap and the barrel need to line up, otherwise it looks a bit strange. Here it doesn't really matter, but it's a nice system. You have the section sort of hourglass shaped and the same material as the cap, which is a nice material. As you can see, it's not just red. There is a little bit of yellow in it, which is kind of nice, I think. And then there is the palladium nib. This is the monotone nib, so there's no gold in this, just chrome colored nib. The nib says Visconti. It has the, it's not really a fleur-de-lis, but sort of like a lily flower shaped ornament, and it's a palladium nib, 23K PD 950, and this happens to be the fine nib, but of course you can get them extra fine, fine, medium, broad, double broad, and there is a stub, a 1.3mm stub. These are larger pens. I find them very comfortable. If you really want to, you can sort of post it, but it becomes a really big pen. And one of the defining features for me of the Homo Sapiens series is the double reservoir power filler. So you can, if you look there, you can unscrew this bit and you can sort of tap out the ink. You see that's the second reservoir, which you can empty, refill again. If you're flying, you empty it. There you go. You screw that back in place and there's no ink to be expelled, you won't get any leakage, etc. It holds a decent amount of ink, but don't get too excited, because when you fill it up the regular way, put in the ink, to put this out, push it back in, you create a vacuum, it draws up ink. You only fill it up to about half or a third of the full capacity. I have a video on how you can fill it up completely, but you have to want to do such a thing. And that's pretty much it. So, even if it only draws up half of the barrel, you still have a lot of ink in there, especially if you have a finer nib. Shouldn't really be an issue. Okay, what do I like about the pen? What do I not like about the pen? I like the model. And that's subjective. Not everyone will like this, but I like it. You still have the according to Visconti, non-breakable clip, Ponte Vecchio shaped. Some people absolutely hate it. I have to be honest, I like it. I like the model of the pen. I like that it's clear with facets. I've always liked the Homo Sapiens model, so that's easy for me. I like the size. I like the way it looks. As to the particular pen, the Chiantishire is a nice red. It's a warm red, and I like that. One of the downsides to the material Visconti uses is that the amount of swirls is different on each pen. Does that really matter? Well, in a way, because some of these pens, and I haven't held 20 of these, but I have seen it in, for example, the Crystal and the Florentine Hills models. Some of these pretty much have a clear barrel with one small stripe of blue or green or red on it, whereas others have so many stripes there's almost no clarity to the barrel. And that can be a bit of an issue, because you may like one thing or the other thing, and you can't really pick that if you buy one. And some vendors will send you pictures of the various models they have, and you can pick one, but others just don't have time for that. So it's always a bit of a hassle, I would say. The price of these pens is high. This is 850 euros. Now, bear in mind, as I said, I got this, or I lent this from Appelboom, so 10% discount on the website if you want to purchase one. 10% at least makes a bit of a difference at this price. There is also, of course, that new one they did, the Elegance, Homo Sapiens Elegance, which is a cartridge converter filled pen, which is a whole different ball game. It's also $495 as opposed to $850, so that's still expensive, but you know, it gets a relatively more affordable, I suppose. Other things I don't like about it, well, the nib writes, but it's very hard. Now, it's no secret, I've had a lot of issues with palladium nibs from Visconti, and I'm not the only one. The nib writes, so that's great. I'm very pleased with that. What is strange, though, is that it is a very rigid nib, whereas this Elegance has a nib that is super soft, and both are fine palladium nibs. I don't want to sound sour, but I simply do not understand how you can manufacture nibs out of the same material, the same nib grade, and some are nails and others are semi-flex nibs. I mean, I'm not complaining, just that I don't understand how if you use the same alloy, I assume that's just a process that you set in your machine and you get that, you mix, I don't know how that works, I'm not a metallurgist. In any case, you know what I mean. You have your set stuff, you make the nibs, you cut them out the same way, then how are some flexible and others not? I don't get it. So if this is hard, don't think that you will get a hard one, because you may also get a soft one. You know, it's I don't know. There seems to be very little system to that. Okay, having said that, I like that the nib writes well. I also like that the quality control is good. I have seen a couple of the lava ones where there is a big gap between the cap and the finial, and this is well done. So I'm really happy. Visconti is a brand that I love. I have a pretty strong personal connection to, because one of my first really nice pens was a Visconti, so I love the brand. But I hate to see the quality control being a bit of a hassle once in a while. So I love that this one is really good, and that's worth it. Okay, I mean that's worth it as in I'm happy that you pay a lot, but you also get a pen that at least is very well made. So nice model, interesting new finish. I like the red. The red is fun. Quality control seems to be good. Hard nib, but I don't know how consistent that is over models. I think it's interesting. Is it expensive? Yes, it's a limited edition. How limited is something really when there are 888? That's a whole different discussion. But it is limited. You do get ink with it. Clearly, that's not a whole lot of value. But I think it's... you know that when you buy a Visconti, you're not buying a $50 pen, and that's just the way it is. So, fascinating. We need to see how it writes. Joost, thanks a lot for lending me the pen. I appreciate it. High resolution pictures as well as measurements of the pen will be on the website SBREBROWN.com. I hope this was useful so far, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye. Okay, so here we go with the Visconti Homo Sapiens Chiantishire. The nib is fine, palladium. The ink is just Waterman blue. Okay, let's do some writing. Nice, smooth. Especially for a fine. Going really fast here. Was a small skip there. I think that was me, but I'm not 100% sure. So, it does fairly well. Fine nib, wetness. With Visconti, you often don't really have any complaints about the wetness of the pen, so there's that. Line variation, as I said, it's a pretty hard nib, and even this, it is palladium. I mean, you can push it, and it will open up a little bit, but it's the amount of pressure required. With the Homo Sapiens Elegans that I recently reviewed, this was a lot easier. It opened up a lot more easily. So perhaps calling this a nail was not entirely fair, but I really have to push down on that in a way that makes me a little uncomfortable. So that's what I meant by the inconsistency. Reverse writing, it's a wet pen. You already have a fine nib, but you can maybe take that to an extra fine or so if you do reverse writing. So that's not bad at all. Joost, thanks a lot for lending me this pen. I appreciate it. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye bye.
Bye.